What's a citizen to think? Who's blocking what here for trying to get something done?
Well, the Republicans are trying to add funding to the one program that's running out of money, and that's the PPP program through the SBA. It's the Small Business Focus Program, and by the end of this week, I believe it'll be out of money based on the burn rate per day that I'm seeing. So that's what Republicans are focused on, is you got a program that's already running out of money. Let's try to bolster it. I don't disagree. The program should be improved. Frankly, I don't think it works as well as it should for the hospitality industry and others who were shut down really by government edict. And we can talk about that. A couple of changes I think that would improve it. But in the meantime, let's not let the money run out. The other programs that the Democrats are talking about may indeed run out of money as well, but they haven't yet. In fact, they haven't even started in terms of the state and local government funding. And that will start this week. And, you know, $100 billion, $150 billion for the for state and local, $100 billion for hospitals. We don't know how much money we'll need there. So I think it's premature to add more money when the programs haven't begun yet. So I think that's really the difference. I don't disagree, again, with some of what Democrats ultimately are going to want to do in terms of testing, as an example. I do think that's something that's important. But let's also analyze how the existing funding is being used for testing.
Rob, just switching gears quickly, do you know the timeline for this new group that the president's going to put together? I think it's called an Open the Country Council or Task Force. Do you know who's going to be on it? Have you been approached? I think the president might have mentioned DeWine, the governor of Ohio, that you probably know pretty well. And do you know anything about that? And what's your viewpoint on how we're going to do this and how many different people we really need to talk to come to the right conclusion? Trump said it's going to be his most important decision he's ever made in his life, when to reopen.
Yeah, I mean, it is an absolutely critical decision, and I think you ought to include some outside folks. I've made the recommendation that it includes some people from the outside that have the credibility that Scott Gottlieb has. You just had Scott on. He's got his own report out called Roadmap to Reopening, I've seen, which is good. I do think some of the governors would be good. I also think some healthcare professionals, and I've talked to some healthcare CEOs who have said, you know, having the government shut down is also bad for health, and so we have to balance that. But look, Joe, it's going to be complicated. I think Dr. Gottlieb just indicated how complicated it is because you've got different parts of the country that are experiencing different stages of the coronavirus, and so it might start reopening in different areas. He also talked about the fact that we need to continue to have a transition. In other words, there needs to be social distancing that continues even if parts of the economy are able to be reopened. And then he indicated, as is pretty obvious, some areas are going to be reopened more quickly than others because in some cases, say, you know, everybody's sitting next to each other in a movie theater. That's not going to happen. Maybe you could do social distancing, but in other cases, such as outdoor work, you know, construction work, maybe you could reopen more quickly. So I think it's going to be complicated. I think having a group that's got some outside experts on it will give it more credibility. And, I think it's good that we're starting to look at that.